Okay, let's keep this show going. Your next comedian is joining us from a little bit further south in Oregon, a town called Brownsville, which is around Corvallis, Salem, and Eugene. So she's technically in 3 comedy scenes at once and killing it all over the place. She has a really cool show called Talk Dirty to Me, where comedians have to read smut on stage, and then they play games and other things like that. So if you go down to Eugene, you gotta check it out. Please put your hands together once again for Litzibitz!
Hey. I'm Litzibitz. I have 21 piercings. 19 you can see without buying me a drink first. And that means that, like, while I have these piercings, I colored my hair, I dress like this. I was definitely aiming to look cool, right? But what I found is that I've landed somewhere where I realize what I have is what I like to call social justice warrior face. And the reason why I have this, the reason why I know, is because whenever I'm hanging out with a particularly cool group of people, like comedians, and they tell like an off-color joke, I can just see them look at my face. I can feel their buttholes pucker. That's on me. I should get my fingers out of there. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I'm often in like rural areas and I get looks sometimes, and I can tell that they're looking at me like they think I'm the kind of liberal that begins group sex with a land acknowledgement. Like, before we begin this orgy, I'd like to acknowledge that we're here on stolen Kalapuya land. And, like, they're not wrong, but the judgment's hurtful, you know? Hurts my feelings. I have been accused of delivering too many finger guns during sex. This is an accusation I've only received from men. Women don't seem to notice, because I give it to them sideways. Ayo, ayo. Yeah, my most recent piercing is actually my lip, and it's kind of caused some changes in how I interact with people. I've noticed that, you know that thing where if somebody looks at your eyes and looks at your mouth and looks back at your eyes, it means they secretly want to kiss you? I've been getting a lot of false positives lately. I mean, and also I've just been noticing people looking at my mouth when we're talking more often, and it's so awkward, you guys. Like, my tits are down here. Thank you. I'm not as witchy as I look, but I am more witchy than my parents would like. By which I mean I am in a polyamorous lesbian relationship with the moon. But, you know, like, I still use sunscreen and get vaccinated. Like, I do have a cauldron at home, but it's my Instapot because pressure cooking is magic. You know, I do charge my crystals with a credit card, you know, like that kind of witch. That kind of witch. But I am a spooky bitch, and so Halloween is my favorite holiday, but I do take a little bit of umbrage for people who use that as an excuse to dress like a dumb slut. As a dumb slut who dresses like that every single day of my life, I take umbrage, right? My culture is not your costume. I'm dedicated to the dumb slut life, that's what I'm telling you. I have a master's degree, but I do, whenever I see like a heavily tattooed couple holding a baby, I do wonder for a half a second why the baby came out blank. You know, when I'm driving by a field full of sheep with one llama, and I look out and I see that llama, there is a moment where I say out loud, holy shit, that's a tall sheep. And, like, yeah, llamas are the giraffes of the sheep world, but, like, that is still a dumb bitch moment. I've been with my husband for 11 years, yeah, married for 7, monogamous 2 weeks. 2 weeks monogamous. But we packed a lot of monogamy in those 2 weeks, you guys. We were so monogamous for those 2 weeks, we were like, wow, this is getting toxic. We should see other people. And it's been great. It's wonderful. I love being polyamorous, but being a polyamorous person, that does mean that I am a semi-professional board game player, you know? And unfortunately, a quality of having to date me is that you do have to be good at losing board games, because inevitably you will be invited to a date in which you're supposed to play a board game with me and my husband, and we will play our favorite board game with you. And we've played it 5,000 times. And there's no way you're gonna win. My husband is a master at whatever game it is that we're playing, I promise you. And so what I'm trying to say is that you have to be a really good loser, because you're gonna have to be able to lose at the board game table and still get it up to fuck me later, you know? what I'm saying is I have a boyfriend who is the best loser I know. He is the most amazing loser because he will get utterly cucked at the board game table, but will still be able to dominate me in the bedroom later, you know? It all works out great. I started dating this guy, and you know, we were on a couple first dates, and like we were starting to you know, hook up at his place, and I found out that he was the kind of man who didn't keep lube in the house. And as I am no longer a teenager, and I am a pot smoker, and you know, I don't know, dry mouth doesn't only affect one of my orifices. This was a situation that had to be rectified immediately, right? And so I find myself going down to the adult shop and perusing the lube selection. And I don't know if you've ever tried to buy like a single-use lube, but those things are expensive per ounce. Like you cannot get your bang for your buck. Anyway, so I was looking through and I'm picking up like a pretty significantly large bottle of lube, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with this? Like, do I just keep this in my purse? Am I just gonna be that woman who just like has lube in her purse? Purse lube woman? Is that my life now?
Yeah!
Or I'm a house guest. Is this just lube for the house? You know, like I don't have wine, I don't have bread, I just fancy lube. You know, that's what I have to offer. And because I am a hopeless romantic and an optimist and an excellent house guest, I did leave the lube at his house. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And it was good. You know, the optimism worked out. We've been dating for a little while. The interesting thing about our relationship is that we are same height partners, which as a 5'3" woman is kind of unusual for me. And, you know, I like to tend to date people who are taller, but this has had an unusual advantage, which is that he is of the height where he can't see my dandruff. Until I'm blowing him, and by then it's too late. You know? He's pot committed. Right at that point, he's in too deep to complain. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I have eczema, but only on my knees. And so looking at me, it implies that I get on my knees to deliver a lot of blowjobs, and I want to set the record straight. I use a bed like a goddamn adult, right? I get plenty of blowjobs in a bed. Getting on my knees is only for emergencies, you know, like somebody needs CPR, or they desperately need a blowjob, like right now. I don't know. I was dating this guy, and you know that thing where if you eat something and then you puke immediately afterwards, you like can't eat that for a long time. For most people, it's tequila, But we were having sex, and then immediately he comes and then goes to the bathroom and barfs, and I'm just glad the last thing he ate wasn't my pussy. Small wonders. I have a theory, and it's that all comics are a little bit into CBT, and that's because we all spend time, if you hang out with comics, we all spend a lot of time busting each other's balls, and we also all desperately need therapy. Yeah, that's a cock and ball torture cognitive behavioral therapy joke. I fucking love an initialism that means two things. You know, like CBT. I also love my other secret favorite is ATM. Whenever somebody says, I'm gonna go use the ATM machine, I giggle to myself. Because, like, obviously they're not saying, I'm gonna go use the automatic teller machine. That would be stupid. They clearly mean the ass-to-mouth machine, right? You never want to take something that's been from the ass-to-mouth machine, because you know where it's been. It's terrible. I also love acronyms like SCUBA. You know, SCUBA stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Did you know that TUBA is also an acronym? Yeah, it stands for Terrible Underwater Breathing Apparatus. You should never scuba with a tuba. You'll fucking drown. That's advice you can take right to the ATM machine. I've been with my husband for 11 years. It means I have stepkids, and I love being a stepmom. I chose wisely. And being a stepmom so young, that means that I got to switch porn categories really early on in life. You know, I went straight from barely legal to SMILF. Stepmother I'd like to fuck. And it's a huge category of porn. I don't know if you know this. You probably do. It's a huge category of porn. And I have a theory. It's because that all of these millennials were raised by Disney. And so there's something about a severe neckline and a stern look that really gets them going, you know? My only problem is, despite being a stepmom for a while, I have yet to get stuck in appliance. I guess it doesn't count, right? Like, I'm not technically a stepmom until I get stuck in a washing machine, right? But as part of being a stepmom and loving my kids, my husband and I, we decided not to have bio kids together. He celebrated by getting his second vasectomy, because I can't make a decision. And I celebrated by getting my nipples pierced. Yeah, those are the other ones you didn't see. And I love my nipple piercings. They are great. I love them very much. I'm a big fan. But there is one problem, which is that besides comedy, my hobby is crochet. And I like to make these big granny square crochet blankets. And I have this nice big bed. And I sleep naked. So if you haven't put together the pieces I put before you, you might not realize that I've created a situation for myself that's very cozy, but also very dangerous. Because I don't know if you know this, but pure snips love loose knits. Pure snips are attracted to loose knits like foreskin to braces. I've been Litzibitz. Give it up for your host.